Hello and welcome to my Lifehouse. Today we're talking purpose and fulfillment, and I am delighted to have the one and only Stephanie Dickson here with me. Steph is an inspiring social entrepreneur who has created a conscious living platform from the ground up into a large influential space. She is the founder of Green is the New Black, a TEDx speaker and a thought leader in Asia, and I am so excited to have you here today, Steph. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So to get started, I would love to hear your perspective on what is a purpose-driven life.
It's such a big question, but I think for me, what makes my life or makes me feel like I'm living a purpose life is knowing that I'm getting up every day and I'm doing something that it's fun, that I enjoy, but that's also making a difference. I think, especially in my world, dealing with climate change and sustainability and kind of facing the hard truths of where our planet's really going and where we're at, it can be really demoralizing sometimes and scary. And so at least I know that with the work I'm doing using my skill set to be part of the solution as best I know how at this stage of my life. And that's what gives me purpose.
Amazing. And so when you made the big change, I know you started your career in fashion and now you're a green warrior. So in that transition, how did you, what were some big milestones or challenges you went through in making that change?
I think when I quit my job, I was 25 and I didn't even have a plan. I was so naive back then. And I think the naivety really helped because I think there have been moments where I was like, if I knew how hard this was going to be and if I knew what I'd have to go through, would I have really done it? I mean, Of course, the answer is always yes, but it doesn't stop you questioning it sometimes. But I think back then, the really hardest thing was just realizing that I come from a company that was very well known in the industry that it was in. And now I was building something that my friends didn't even get or understand, let alone anyone else that I was trying to speak to. So it was really difficult as when you're first starting to get that recognition and to, because we'd had it in the past, I really grappled with that a lot. And so, I was just realizing that actually, you have to be consistent. You have to keep showing up. You have to build trust. Mm-hmm. And then when you have trust, then everything gets much easier, but you have to build it. You can't just expect it to show up overnight. I think that was a really big lesson that I learned in the beginning.
It's interesting how you say the naivety. I remember a conversation we had actually a few years ago when I was considering a huge life change. I was in the corporate world. I was going to leave to become a founder CEO of a tech company. And you said to me, if you're terrified, if you're scared, lean into that. That is a sign it's the right path. Mm. And that really resonated with me and stuck with me. And I was wondering, is there anything else you would say to someone who is about to embark on their life's dream and is holding back or afraid?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say is why? What's holding you back? Why are you not going forward with this? If this is something you're passionate about and you think is your dream, then you have no time to waste. You don't have time to waste. Life's short. Even though it feels like, we're here for 100 years if we're lucky, but actually it goes past really quickly. So I think if you have something that you really want to do, just start by taking a small step, lean into the fear, lean into that, that excitement, because it is excitement. It's fearful, but it's also like, can I really do this? It's like that push and pull feeling. But I think you have to just start, and you can start by just taking little steps. And I think one of the things that actually comes up a lot is people like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And it's like, well, do you really? Like, a lot of people think they want to be an entrepreneur. This is not an easy life.
It's so much harder than anything I've ever done.
Exactly. And so you really need to ask yourself, are you willing to give up and compromise a lot in your life? And if you are, then do it. But if not, you can find purpose in the work that you're doing. And especially for me, when I have people who want to get into sustainability, I say, look at your office, look at what the work you're doing. How can you change your role? How can you change what you're focusing on at work and within the workplace to make a difference, especially in sustainability? So I think you can look there firstly, but then aside from that, you can also build on the side. I think there's nothing better than a side hustle.
Yeah.
And so you can figure out, because a lot of the time what we think is our dream actually isn't our dream. We're caught up in the romance. We're caught up in the ideal scenario that we think we could be in one day. But actually the reality is everything has a sandwich, like from that Mark Manson book. So you have to just realize if you're willing to eat the the bad parts of your dream as well as the good parts, because everything is greener on the other side. So I think, just starting on the side, building it up, and then you get to a tipping point where you realize you've tested it enough to be like, hey, I think I can actually do this, and this is going to be enough for me. And then you can quit and you can move into that full time.
Yeah. And then having that confidence that the tough moments are going to be worth it, and going in more with your eyes open as well. Because going in very extreme, it can be like baptism by fire. It can be such a shock to the system, which also could be an interesting experience. But yeah, I love that. So as a businesswoman who has achieved great many things the last 5-6 years, starting from scratch, building these huge communities, you have events that have like 3,500 attendees. What would be your tips for new entrepreneurs who want to grow sustainably, who want to survive that 2-year mark that a lot of startups fail?
Yeah, the 2 years, it's tough. But I think for me, it was just about consistency. I think consistency is really important to keep showing up. That really builds the trust. But also, if you feel like giving up, that's the moment you need to just keep going, because it does get easier, it gets more exciting, and after a while, things just start coming to you, and the recognition comes, and people, recognize your business, or they've heard about you, and those little moments make it worth it. So you got to celebrate those wins as well, I think. But growth is a big thing, and if you want to hit that 2-year mark, you just keep going and just find your support system. I think for me, what was a big help is that I actually changed a lot of my friends. So a lot of my friends didn't get what I was doing in the beginning at the time, and then I found new friends who understood, and I built my own support network where I could meet other entrepreneurs who were going through similar struggles, and we could just share war stories and be there and support each other and have that that support. And I think that's really critical to keep going. You sometimes need to just know that you're not alone, and that other people have gone through what you're going through, and it's not a unique problem.
Steph, there's so many questions I could ask you, including, you've just been to the Arctic, there's so many things going on, but I do want to just value your time and appreciate your time, and thank you so much for sitting with us and sharing your knowledge with our audience. And I really appreciate it. So I hope you've enjoyed this and hearing from Steph Dickson. And please connect with us at MyLifehouse.co or on social media at MyLifehouseCo. So hope you have a great day. Thank you.